Yes, finally! This stuff has been on back order for so freaking long. Okay, before I start totally rambling about my hair, let's talk about something that could be keeping you a small streamer forever. So some people have this mindset with Twitch where they feel like at some point you fall into a position where your words have influence and matter to people. The problem with this idea is that it's a little backwards. You don't get a ton of people in your stream and then start acting like your words matter and have weight. You act like your words matter and have weight, and that leads to getting more people in your stream. So this has to do with the psychology of influence, and the reason a lot of small streamers stay small forever is that they don't know what to do or what to say in order to grow the influence that they have on other people. Now, when we talk about your influence over others, a lot of people are gonna feel kind of weirded out by this conversation because typically your influence over others comes with a negative connotation, like you're using your influence to manipulate people and take advantage of them. But influence has a positive connotation too. You can use it to help other people and to aid them in making better decisions for their life. That's the type of influence that you want to learn how to develop so that you don't have to be a small streamer forever. Learning how to become more influential is actually a skill set that can be developed, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how to do it and exactly how to use it. But before we do that, Own3D is an amazing marketplace full of all the graphics that you need for your stream. They have alerts, panels, even emotes, which is wild, and you can actually buy a package that has already been created and get your graphics instantly. It works with every single stream. It's very, very easy integration. This is really good for those of you who are at the point where you maybe don't have the money or the traction yet to be able to hire a designer on your own, and you need something that's going to make you look just a little bit more professional versus the Canva graphics that you've probably been creating yourself. So if you haven't checked them out already, make sure that you do. There is a link for that below. What's up everyone, it's Ashni. I've been a stream coach for about 2.5 years, and I am not a naturally influential person. I had to learn this skill just like a lot of you are gonna have to learn this too. And I think the reason that it was so difficult for me was because I did not understand what it actually took to be influential. I thought you were either born with it and you had it, or you didn't. Luckily, that is not true. Influence comes from a series of actions that you take to show your audience one specific thing. You have to show them that you know exactly where they're at, exactly what they're struggling with, and exactly how they feel about it. You have to communicate that to them in a way that they understand, that you understand, and eventually you have to help them get to where they want to be, not just where you think that they need to be. There are a lot of components to this, so we're gonna break it down a little bit more for you. If you have any questions, you can hang out with me at discord.gg/ashnichrist. It's been a while since we've used our friend here. Hopefully my handwriting is quite a bit better this time, but I'm gonna use this to visually show you why some of you are struggling with growing your influence, okay? And this is because of a fatal misconception and misunderstanding of what influence really means. So for a lot of you, you're the streamer, right? This is you. You're a streamer. You're very happy about it. That's exactly what you look like. And your idea with your stream is that you have to be the royalty. You think that people are coming to you because you're so interesting, you're so good at the game, you're so, you know, insert whatever thing that you want to be here. And so this is your chat. This black box right here. These are the people who are coming into your stream, and this is your viewer count. Oh, no, let's say it's 5. So what's going on here is that you're trying to convince these 5 people that you are the funniest, the smartest, you know so much about the game, and you feel sometimes defensive about the things that chat is saying, or you feel like you have to correct them, or you feel like you need to use whatever they say as an opportunity to make yourself look better, when this is actually a little backwards. So what you want to do is you want to take this crown and you want to put it over here, okay? Influence is much more effective whenever you give it away to the people who want to be part of your space. Your job as a streamer is not to make yourself look like the best person in the room. It's to make everyone else that's in your chat feel like they're the best person in the room. So what a lot of streamers end up doing with this is they think, oh, okay, I have to make my chat feel good. And so what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna thank them for being here over and over and over again. So ad nauseum, you're like, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for showing up today. I know you don't have to be here. You could be anywhere else, but you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is kind of like a low level of influence that you're trying to serve them, because it doesn't ultimately have anything to do with them, and it has everything to do with you. But what you want to do is you want to call out specific things that make them look more influential to each other. So the experience that your viewer wants isn't watching a stream of a person who is just trying to position themselves as the really, really, really cool one, right? This isn't what they want. What they actually want is to watch a stream, and this is the chat once again, of a person, and they say something, blah, 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 blah. This is your viewer watching you. Something like that. Not true to size, obviously. That's their chair. For some reason, their arms are way higher than their chair. And what happens is you say something that calls out this specific person and makes everyone else think that that person is influential. So this is the experience that they want. This is the experience that you should be aiming to try to give them, not this one. However, you have to filter this, right? Because you can't just make every single person feel like they're the most influential person in the room. Otherwise, it's going to come across as nobody is really influential. And so you have to pick and choose what types of people actually deserve this level of attention from your community. So you're kind of like, you're not the king of the castle, you're like the filter, right? You're like the person who has to decide what type of communication or things you want to point out to the rest of the community. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, does this message deserve to be influential? And you have to filter every single chat message through this question. So now every time that you look at a message from your chat, I want you to think, does this deserve to be influential in my community? So for some people, the answer is immediately going to be no. These are the people who are like, they're trolling, they're not really helping, they're bringing down the energy of chat. And so your option here, whenever someone does not deserve to be part of the community, is you either ignore or delete. And obviously the difference between the two is whenever you ignore the message, it's still in chat so other people can see it, but you don't respond to it. Or deleting it is going to completely remove it from your chat. Sometimes deleting it and ignoring it, if it's like a completely useless troll, is part of this filter of influence. So some of those messages are just an absolute no. However, some of the messages are going to be a yes. And this depends on the vibe that you're trying to put out into your community. If you build a space based on mental health, that's going to look very different from someone who builds a space based on a specific game. The things that you are going to absolutely want to give more influence to are completely different depending on your brand, like I kind of already said. The thing that makes this difficult is that there are a lot of messages that you're not really sure about. You're like, I don't know, should I give this attention? Should I not? And that's where you have to make the call as a streamer. Just make sure that you understand that anything that you give your attention to is going to grow. So if you are using trolling to kind of share more content with people, then that's going to grow because you're giving your attention to it. If you are specifically only focusing on the things that you think should be influential in your community, then that kind of behavior is going to grow. So whatever kind of behavior you like, give attention to it. Whatever kind of behavior you don't like, give attention to it, because according to research, and I'll put this study down below in the description box for you all, but according to research, people are talking in Twitch chats and they subscribe or they tip or they do any action inside of a stream. Their ultimate goal is to feel influential. And so if you allow people to have some level of influence over you, whatever that behavior is, that's why you're going to get more of it. I talked about my process figuring this out in my ebook a little bit, so check that out if you haven't already. But this is a very, very basic understanding of influence, right? There are actually a lot of things besides just being the filter that you need to do in order to become more influential to people, therefore grow your viewership and succeed as the streamer that you want to be. Now, this stuff is not really visual, so let's jump back to the regular view. Okay, so we know that we're supposed to be making our chat feel like they're the true influencers in our stream, but how do we actually do that? It's great to have that knowledge. How do we execute? So we're going to take the knowledge from someone called Robert B. Cialdini. He's someone who has been researching influence and persuasion for freaking decades. This is the guy that is going to teach us what we need to know about this. Robert has 6, technically 7 persuasion principles, he calls them, that help people grow their influence among a specific group of people. But I don't want to just tell you what they are, I want to tell you how you can use them in your stream. First psychological component that Robert talks about is called reciprocity. So it's this idea that human beings want to reciprocate the things that they receive from other people. We've talked about this in videos before. This is basically you are giving people a lot and they're giving you in return. Gary Vee has a system for this he calls jab, 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 right hook, and it's the idea that you want to give before you ask for something in return. The way that you do this as a streamer and as a content creator in general is that you give your audience consistent free stuff, which you're already doing by just streaming and making your content. This is why in my affiliate payout explained video, I didn't go into a ton of sub goals that you needed in order to get more subs. It's because people are already subscribing as an act of reciprocity for the amount of time and effort and energy that you're putting into your stream. Some creators even tell you to go deeper with this and just do everything for free. Put out a ton of goodwill into the world so that you can bank on reciprocity. And free stuff definitely has its place. That should be part of your content strategy and your business strategy, but I want to make another video in the future because I think there's a big misunderstanding of free versus paid content or products. The second element is something called scarcity, which we have also talked about in previous videos, specifically the growth strategy every streamer must master video. People want more of what is less available to them. This helps you grow your influence because it helps people take action. On a massively saturated platform like Twitch, you need all the help you can get to convince people to take action, to click on your stream and watch. It's way more likely that they're gonna watch you if you only stream 3 days a week versus the person who's streaming 6 or 7 days a week, because you are more scarce. You're the more valuable product, commodity. Both of those words sound weird to refer to streamers with. The third thing you can use to grow your influence is something called authority. There's a reason that I mentioned in all of these videos that I've been a streamer since 2012, 2013, that I've been a stream coach for 2.5 years. There is a reason that I say my ebook has been featured in Ninja's book, and that's also my pinned tweet and on my banner on YouTube. These are all authority components that show people that I have knowledge and credibility in what I'm talking about. The problem is that whenever you start as a streamer, streamer, or even whenever you're a small streamer, you're often in a place in life where you don't truly understand who you are and what you uniquely can offer to people. When you don't understand yourself very well, it's so freaking difficult to figure out how to build authority and how to be credible, because you just don't know what you want to be credible in yet. And so this is why I'm a big believer that personal development is such a huge part of being a streamer. It doesn't mean you have to be super positive or know everything or be crazy confident, but you just have to understand who you are in order to be able to highlight those characteristics of yourself and attract more viewers to you. However, if you do know who you are, you need to take the thing that you want to grow authority in and do it. And the only way that you can do it is by showcasing either your knowledge or your skill set. This means if you believe that you are an educator at heart, you need to start sharing your expertise with people in an evergreen way like YouTube. Or if you are someone who believes that they are truly great at entertainment, you have to figure out how to be the funniest, most interesting person in the room. And you have to know how to highlight those personality traits that are so unique and helpful about you. I know that's still a little bit nebulous. The path to growing your authority is a little bit difficult to explain, and it's very difficult to understand it if you haven't actually been through the process before. Maybe I should make a video on this. The next way you can grow your influence is with something called consistency. Now, this doesn't mean just be consistent with your stream schedule, although obviously that helps. However, this type of consistency is a little bit different. This consistency specifically is referring to the consistency of identity, which means that people are more likely to fall in line with the way that they have identified themselves publicly. So how can a streamer use the identity of their viewers in order to get more of them? This has everything to do with you sharing your beliefs, which I talk about a lot on this channel, but the idea is that you want to tell people who you are and what your space stands for so that they can stand behind you. If you say, hey, I truly believe that the deaf and hard of hearing community deserves more support, other people who believe that are going to stick with you because it's consistent with things that they've personally said in their past, and they want to stay consistent with that identity that they've set up for themselves. This is why you can't be afraid anymore to share who you are. It's literally holding you back from growing your viewership. Liking is the next trait of influence, and this is the idea that people are going to stick with people who compliment them, make them feel good about themselves, and help them reach mutual goals. This is why I love whenever y'all say that you're so excited to see this channel succeed and yourself succeed in any comments on this YouTube channel, because what ends up happening for me is that's a huge signal to me that the information that I am sharing here is, yes, helping to build my influence, but also helping you achieve the things that you want to achieve. Something that can be really difficult about likability is that it is hard to be likable when you're frustrated and angry and upset all the time, or you feel a little bit jaded about streaming. I made a frustrations video for you Twitch affiliates, or even if you're not an affiliate yet, the things that are emotional blockages that could be preventing you from the growth that you want to see. So make sure that you go and check that out. Let's get your mental state right so that we can help you grow. And also because, like, being happy is cool. Next component of influence is something called consensus, and it actively works against you if you're a small streamer. Consensus is the idea that people want to be where everyone else is, which means that people are going to the large streamers who already have all the viewers. So in order to grow your influence, part of that is going to come as you grow your viewers. But there's a really important piece of this that you need to know, so make sure that you keep on watching. We have one more. The last component of influence is something called unity, and Robert actually just released this, I think over the past year, I want to say in 2019. This is the idea that people want to be around people that they relate to. So think of all of those relatable content creators who are super popping off right now and doing so well. They are masters of being able to explain the mundane pieces of their life in a way that's intriguing and makes other people say, me too, I've done that too. This is because humans are desperate to relate to each other. We are social creatures with a massive desire for being understood and accepted. And the unity principle is something that you can use to make your viewers feel like you get them. Now, this is a very extensive list. If you just start trying to implement all of these, I promise you it's not gonna work because you're trying to change too many things at once. If you want to grow your influence and break out of this annoying freaking trap of being a small streamer, that frustration that you feel with not being able to grow, choose just one of these things and focus on it and learn how to be a master at that one thing before starting another piece of influence. This also goes way deeper than I have time for in a single YouTube video, so make sure that you pick up Influence: The Power of Persuasion by Robert B. Cialdini if you want to learn more. There's a link for it down below. And here's the thing that you really need to know about influence. It's not necessarily about popularity. Just because you have a ton of viewers and a lot of people are watching you doesn't mean that they're actually going to take your advice whenever you give it to them. Influence and popularity are two completely different things that don't necessarily cross. Sometimes they do, but not always. And if you have this idea that in order for you to be more influential or to get a lot of viewers or to succeed as a streamer means that you just need tons of people watching you, you are, I was gonna say mistaken, but I don't think that that's necessarily a wrong path to want for yourself. I think that you can want to just have a ton of people watching you and not be influential to them. However, there's a big difference between that path and someone who has influence. Influence convinces people to buy from your sponsors, to come back the next day, to watch the YouTube video that you're promoting, to follow you on other platforms, and really just to follow through with anything that you tell them to do. Influence is why some large streamers end up having the same amount of subscribers as streamers a tenth of their size. Influence is why someone can be a successful streamer and then completely leave it and come back later and still have the same amount of viewers. Influence is why someone can bounce from platform to platform to platform and still be successful no matter where they go. Because influence is not lightning in a bottle success. It's a skill set that you learn in order to communicate to people in a way that makes them want to listen. Influence can help you grow as a streamer, but more importantly, it helps you get better results with what you've got going for you right now. However, as I said earlier, it's going to be very difficult for you to grow your influence if emotional blockages are preventing you from being able to take all of the steps outlined in this video. That's why I made this video about frustrations that a lot of Twitch streamers feel, so that you can hopefully work through them and move into a place where you can be more influential, grow your viewership, do whatever you want to do, baby. Go and click on that one. I'll see y'all over there. Bye!